Hello, and welcome back to Trails of Cold Steel 2. Last time ended with the plot trying to progress with stuff happening in Roer. But before any of that happens, I need to make sure that I scan all the enemies.
Stay focused.
Because despite this being the same enemy that's been seen before, it's a new enemy type. Oh, not to Martians. Ugh. I still need to scan those.
Here, I got it.
Let's move.
He needs to regen
Now.
craft
I'll
points.
handle
He's
this.
swapping, but I don't have... Never mind.
This is it.
Of course. And
Let's move. My turn.
of course.
Here I go.
Guess I don't have anyone with spare
Very well. Thanks.
craft points to work with.
Let's move. I won't lose to the likes of you.
Of course.
Wait, healing doesn't restore craft points. Wait, yeah. That's interesting. It makes sense, I think, with what is established. How many turns of confusion is this? It's a lot of turns of confusion. It reapplied it, I think, but it's still so many turns. Yeah. This story might get interesting soon. I'm a little doubtful that it's going to be very fun because there's a very real chance it's just going to devolve into the Reinford family drama, which has never been very interesting. Because Alisa and her mom, neither are very interesting.
I'll handle
They're
it.
both kinda who cares for me.
Got it.
My turn.
So every time they focus on it, I just
I'll handle this.
want to skip.
This is it. Come.
Of course.
I just want to make sure it's actually scanned. It has all the info, but... Okay, I need to check if this is a new monster. Yeah, these wolves are
Very well. Let's move.
pretty dangerous.
Of course.
Oh yeah.
I'll handle this.
I'll handle it.
These guys have a lot of evasion.
Here I go.
Here I go. My turn.
Here I go. Now.
She has terrible craft point
Absolutely.
generation. She hit once, she got 10. Probably because it's an AoE attack hitting one enemy. I'm not going to worry about
That one's
scanning enemies anymore.
Careful.
This music doesn't fit. Who are you kids? Well, see, we're travelers. We walked here from Ymir to visit. You came out that far on foot? You guys do know there's a war going on, right? I wouldn't recommend just wandering the highways and byways. Huh. You know, you look kind of familiar. I do? Yeah, feels like I've seen you somewhere before. Can't put my finger on where, though. Actually, now that I get a better look, you're not the only one I feel like I've seen before. There should be no panic, because Emma can Jedi mind trick. Bah, this isn't looking good. Well, this sucks. What should we do? I suppose I'll just have to lean on the same trick again. Except someone's gonna show up. The less frequently we have to use it, the better. But it sure beats getting caught here. You sure you're not just imagining things? Kids these days all look the same. You can hardly tell one of them from the next. You're racking your brain over it now, but later you'll realize they just look like some faces you saw in a bar. You think? Besides, we're here on watch for signs of the Imperial Army, not teen tour groups. How much trouble can they really cause? I doubt most of this lot would even make the cut for the Imperial Army. Yeah, I guess you're right. Alright then, you guys are clear to head on through. You can go about your business. Better not catch wind of you causing any trouble, you hear? Yes, sir. You won't find us causing trouble, sir, if you'll excuse us. Yeah, okay. They at least brought up the Jedi mind trick. It's still lame. Like, I kind of hope it's explicitly revealed that someone had paid off the guard on the right. Like, once we find Angelica, we learn that, oh yeah, one of the guards by that gate was working for me. It would be kind of odd, but it would make sense. So I hope. I haven't seen this place in a while. It's been maybe 3 months, maybe 4. But how did we get in so easily? Yeah, I was wondering the same thing. One of them clearly suspected us of something, so it strikes me as fishy that he didn't even check his wanted list. I imagine that other soldier's intervention saved us all. I'm glad I didn't have to use witchcraft again, at least. It didn't feel like a trap, but I can't think of any justification for it. See, now I want it to not be that Angelica helped, because it's sort of a mix of, if they spend too long dwelling on it, it kind of ruins the semi-intrigue reveal. Unless it's revealed right now. But if they commented on it 1-2 people and then moved on, instead of everyone having to say something, it wouldn't feel as if they're dwelling on it for too long, and then the reveal would be more interesting, I think. Can't think of any justification. That's going to bug me, but at least we're in. Time to gather some information. That's right. We need to find out where Mother and Angelica are. Yeah, I really think they spent a little bit too long talking about it, so it's almost certainly going to be central. Whereas keeping it a little bit subtle, like they comment on it, but then they move on a little bit quicker, making it slightly less blatant that that's a central plot, that is a relevant plot point. Because then there's a chance that the reveal actually means something. One of your friends works here, right, Alisa? Yeah, they must be closed today, though. I was hoping we'd be able to get some information from Yuna in advance, but I guess we're out of luck. Or, more accurately, we're out of luck here. They could be somewhere else. Or they could be arrested. This is a key military factory. I will not stand idly by while you filthy commoners defile it with your presence. Last time we were here, this was an Imperial Army factory. The Provincial Army must have taken it over and told the workers to start making weapons for them instead. We'd better do what he says and stay away. But it was already noble controlled, right? Or was it a different one that was noble controlled? Where'd you go, Toddy? I can't find him anywhere. Presumably that's a play, because previously he was unable to find him playing hide and seek, but now it's going to be that he's gone missing. So she would be that kid's mother. I haven't seen my husband for a long time now. They won't let him come home from the mine. I'm worried sick about him. Wish he could at least come home for a night to see us again. I guess subtlety is non-existent. Well, look what the cat dragged in. I can't cackle. But Figured it was about time for you guys to come sweeping in. Nice work making your way into the city. So there is a definite intelligence network. Good to see you. I'm guessing you've been in contact with my grandfather? Sure have. Don't know how much I can do for you on short notice like this, but I can answer any sort of questions you've got. That'd be a real help. To start with, has anything major happened in Roer today that we should know about? Let me think. Old Schmidt returning to the Institute probably counts, I guess. Best I can tell, he's helping out the Alliance. Been doing it for a while, too. I hear he worked on developing the soldats and a whole bunch of other weapons. Really? We knew this already. We'd already been told this information. That's grandfather's impression, too. I don't want to believe it, but it seems more and more like it might be true. Well, he's always been a bit of a pain in the ass. So honestly, I don't have much trouble believing it. Sounds just like him. That's all I've got on that front. But Gwyn asked me to look into it, so I ain't done investigating. You just watch your back and make sure you don't catch the eye of any of those soldiers around here. Cackle. Not a lot going on. Then there's... I already talked to her. I'm gonna just run around for a second. Oh, it's the old man with the dog still. She's still working outside the general goods store. Are they gonna comment? Oh, they didn't comment. Shoot, I didn't mean to trigger a cutscene though. Well, this building looks the same as it ever did. Except for the new guards, of course. Yep, wasn't the provincial army last time. Yeah, you don't need to state that. Angelica did say that Mother was locked away somewhere, but it definitely didn't sound like this was the place. I'm sure that things are pretty chaotic inside with her officially missing, though. It's probably not that chaotic. It's probably being run by the provincial army. And the Noble Alliance. Good day, Lord Rogner. Please allow me to take your belongings. Good man. Why just have man as his title? Just put Lord Rogner. That's... You know that guy? I guess they can't hear him say Lord Rogner? We're not exactly friends, but yeah. He's the director of the first factory, Heidel Rogner. He's also Angelica's uncle. Come on. My. It sometimes feels as though the work will never end. Serving as the group's acting chairman is no easy task. It's no wonder Irina ended up falling ill working like this. Haha, I do so hope she'll be fit to return to work before too long. Indeed. Well, if you need me, I'll be unwinding on the 24th floor for the time being. Bring some tea along a little later, would you? Much obliged. I would have asked the chairman's maid for that, but alas, she is nowhere to be found. But sir, that floor is... What was that, Dalton? Is there something you want to say to me? No, sir, not at all. Did he say acting chairman? So that guy's standing in for your mother, Alisa. He said she was ill, too. What a load of nonsense. There's no way she's sick. Yes. I imagine most people playing this game are aware that it's a front. You don't need to focus too much on it. And that aside, the 24th floor is my family's home. You probably shouldn't have your home in a company building, though. Oh yeah, I remember sleeping there. He's from one of the 4 great houses, so I'm sure he holds a high rank in the Alliance. But that doesn't excuse this sort of behavior. He's taking advantage of the chairman's absence to do whatever he pleases. But he's taking advantage of the chairman's absence is a weird way to phrase it when he's probably directly related to the cause of the absence. It's just a weird way to write this. But staying in someone else's home uninvited feels really wrong. They don't need to focus on this. 95% of people will be like, oh yeah, he's a bad guy. You don't need to highlight, oh, he's a really bad guy for staying in their home. Like, don't waste time on this dialogue. It'd be one thing if he just took over the company, but this feels like he's trampling on our personal lives too. Says the people who live on the top floor of a company building. If your house was somewhere else, you'd probably still steal it, and the impact would be greater, but if you're living in a company building, it's a little less weird. Still, given the way things are right now, there's no way we can get any closer to the building. Yeah, we're going to have to gather information somewhere else right now. Just, it's so... Ugh. Like, we're aware he's a bad guy. You don't need to repeatedly talk about, oh, he's so bad for doing this. He's so bad for doing that. We know he's not a good guy. It's just a waste of time. This highway leads to the Schwarzstrock barrier. No one gets through without a permit. We are at war here. You commoners need to keep that in mind. What is the Schwarzstrock barrier? I can't get a map. If only I could just open a map of the country. Nothing out of the ordinary to report on the lower level of the city. Haha, an armored car makes patrolling so much less stressful. If only we could use them all the time. They're seriously driving these things around the city? Unbelievable. I mean, no, it's exactly believable. That's not what unbelievable means. Everyone in our factory stuck making some really weird weapons all of a sudden. It's the worst. I can barely drag myself into work anymore. Wish somebody'd give me my old job back. I think these two previously were talking about their jobs. Or at least one of them was. Hey, at least you're still working a production line. We've been moved to the warehouses. If we're not cleaning, we're checking the stuff you guys made. Made, yeah, not make. It's awful. Just awful. Ugh. Nothing. I don't know. I think to a certain extent, checking stuff and cleaning might be better than working on a production line, but I've never worked on a production line and I've never worked in a warehouse, so I can't actually judge. I just think if you're the one building weapons of war, I don't know, between building them and checking them, I think I would rather be checking them than building them. But that's just me. Let me apologize in advance, but I'm afraid we're very short on ordnance right now. All of the city's factories are currently tied up manufacturing weapons and other wartime instruments for the military. But as a store run by the Reinford Company itself, it pains me to find myself in this situation, but there's not much I can do. We'd be glad to take a look at your Arcus units, however. Some of the provincial army soldiers are using them now, too. I wonder if that's going to be plot relevant. I mean, they have just as much quartz supply as anywhere else. I thought it would be interesting if they intentionally had fewer available quartz. Ugh. It might only be available here, but it just doesn't look good. Also, the very obvious Thor's military academy on the Arcus units that are like very large. It's kind of, you would think subtlety would be better than that. I'm terribly sorry, but we're really short on stock at the moment. I appreciate your position, but I couldn't possibly lower our prices any further than I already have. The main branch of our company in Heimdall is suffering severe shortages of stock as well. That's what led Hugo to start traveling the country in search of new stock to purchase. This is a difficult time for all of us, but I'm sure Hugo will come through. He's truly a brilliant negotiator. I assume he's using it as a front and not just being a merchant. Oh, haha, never expected that I'd bump into all of you around here. Hugo, it's great to see you again. Rosine and Becky told us that you'd disappeared. So they're both doing well, then? Good. In fact, why don't you give me the rundown of what you've been up to all this time? You've got me curious now. Skip. So, Becky's on the Courageous now, is she? Of course she is. I can hardly think of a more Becky move. But you're here on business? His company's one of the RF store's biggest clients, so that doesn't really surprise me. That's right. It was backbreakingly difficult. It was backbreakingly difficult. But once I helped Becky escape, I made it back home to Heimdall. For all of its issues, it's still probably the safest place in the country. Always calmest in the eye of the storm, you know. Relatives of known reformists and Class 7 members are a notable exception, but I can see it being a safe place for most. Heading over there on your own is pretty bold, though. You're tougher than you look. Bear in mind, the city's not without its problems. The flow of information is under tighter lockdown than anywhere else. Ordinary citizens can't even approach the palace by foot or by vehicle, and no one knows where the imperial family is. Or what's going on within the alliance, for that matter. Nobody's got any idea what they intend to do next. Figures. Then you haven't heard anything about where Angelica or my mother could be? Afraid not. I've taken a few business trips to Roer since the war started, but I haven't heard a peep about them. It's not like I can stroll on into Reinford's corporate HQ and start asking questions either. Sorry, I can't be of more help. Don't be. You've given us plenty of useful information as it is. But just be careful if you keep all this city hopping up. If you keep up all this city hopping, okay? Right back at you. And give my regards to Becky, if you wouldn't mind. It's pretty weird. Because I thought the way they phrased it's like Becky was surprised that he disappeared. He could have said, going back to work. More than half of the factories in the city have been temporarily closed. Mine among them. I'm completely out of work right now. Business was booming and this city was happy a year ago. Where did it all go? How are we supposed to live our lives with things the way they are? Yeah, it's not very subtle. The Noble Alliance is nothing but a bunch of damn cowards, causing a war, working hand in hand with terrorists. How do they even sleep at night? I can't exactly go around speaking my mind in public, but at least it sounds like Lady Angelica agrees with me. I can't exactly go speaking my mind in public, she says, while speaking her mind in public. Or she's whispering her mind, I guess. You go, Lady Angelica. Give him hell. Probably can't go in there. Come on in to Baronia's for delicious product at low, low prices. We've actually got a new girl working here too. She needed our help, so Grandma decided to take her in. She might not show it, but Grandma's really taken a liking to her. She does tend to get her names mixed up a lot, though. Pretty funny. Boom, character. I can hardly bear with all the long faces around here these days. Nobody's got time to be down in the dumps with all these higher taxes to pay. We need to work, work, work. You gotta work if you want to eat, and that's what I plan on doing. Linda, no canned goods on that shelf. Damn it, not Linda, Lind. Did you hear me, Lind? Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, I'll sort it out right away. So Lind and Linda. Fun joke. Reen, Huh? Lind? Lind? Oh, hey, it's Vivi's sister. I'm happy to see you all well. What brings you to Roer? That's a long story. Got a few minutes to spare? So Vivi's okay. Oh, thank goodness. Yep, she's our observer on the Courageous right now. Hehe, how wonderful. We are always happy to deliver good news. I'm sure Vivi will be thrilled to know that we found you as well. Well, more so than usual, I mean. So, you've been working here part-time? That's right. I escaped the academy with a small group of people, and after a while we all ended up in Roer. I thought Vivi and Lind initially escaped together and then split up part way. Which wouldn't make any sense, because Lind went north and Vivi went south. Well, east then south, but I thought they initially split up together. I guess they didn't. Maybe I misread it. Although, to be honest, I've been going a little stir-crazy wanting to go out and search for Vivi. I've been so worried. I couldn't muster up the courage to leave town and go wandering through a war-torn country on my own, though. Yeah, not a great strategy, that one. You made the right call, as painful as it might have been. By the way, you wouldn't have happened to have heard anything about Angelica and Irina Reinford's whereabouts, would you? Sorry, I haven't. I wish I could be a little more helpful. Oh no, please don't worry about it. We still have an investigation to do. Something's going on here, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. You just keep doing what you're doing and leave that to us. Well, I mean, technically, I think what they should do is evacuate her to the Courageous by, like, escorting her far enough out, but then they'd have to take a boat because maybe that's how they're justifying not taking students up to the Courageous yet. Because they had to take a boat to get down here because they couldn't land far enough away and then walk through a forest or something. If you insist, be careful. If there's anything I can do to help, just come and find me. I won't be going anywhere. I mean, practically speaking, I think they could have Valimar be low flight, get somewhere distant, board Valimar, or no, Spirit Path Valimar to Ymir, board Courageous there, and then come back, and then evacuate people that way. That's a bit too convoluted, I guess. Everything's peaceful here in Roer. Why? Because we're in charge of keeping it that way, of course. Within all the peace and prosperity, there are still some unsettling omens, however. I can see a big fight in our near future. But that's nothing for you commoners to be concerned about. I'm not gonna go that way yet. Man, it sucks to be out of work. What are you gonna do? Not like anyone's hiring. Okay, whatever, that's all I need there. I already talked to her, I talked to Dogman. The chairman went missing as soon as the war began. Her disappearance changed everything around here, too. Though I suppose I should be grateful that this city isn't a battlefield right now. I mean, her disappearance really shouldn't change that much, because it's still a city under the control of one of the 4 great houses, so she shouldn't have had that much control of the city to begin with. But she probably did. I probably can't enter here. Oh, I just can. Weird. And once again, Professor Schmidt wants a whole bunch of equipment ordered on short notice. Awesome. Just awesome. He can be such a dick sometimes. His research produces one brilliant invention after another, though. So, do we get to complain? Nope. This city might not have been harmed directly, but this institute has still been affected by the war. A number of students have chosen to take leave from their studies to return home, for one thing. It's a terrible shame what's happening. It's a terrible shame what's happening is having... It's a terrible shame that what's happening is having such a negative effect on our students' educations. It's kind of an interesting way to look at it. It is having a negative effect on their educations because they're not getting any education. But a negative effect is a very, going from learning to not learning at all is negative, but it feels like an understatement. Huh? Are you George's friends? You don't know how he's doing, do you? It sounds like a ton of crazy stuff's gone down at Thor's. Us? We're hanging in there. We've been better, though, that's for sure. I'm assuming he's a student? You look kind of familiar. I can't place it, though, sorry. Can't be bothered to try and remember either. He seems really down in the dumps. Let's see what lectures I have today. The country may be at war, but we're all still students. Of course we have lectures. And we need to work harder on our studies than ever. I don't know. Weirdly committed to school. Did I talk to this guy? Nothing out of the ordinary. Finding her wouldn't be easy. That's the elevator. Old man. First the chairman goes missing. Then the Reinford group gets taken over by the provincial army and forced to do whatever they tell us. Stick those two together and you've got share prices that drop like rocks. We're not even exporting anything either. We're screwed. So screwed. Chrome. Marquis Rogner's always been known as the most militarily minded of the heads of the four great houses. That makes the Norcher Provincial Army very loyal to him, and it's full of tough, experienced soldiers. Nobody around here would ever dare to go against them. Hell, only Lady Angelica would try something crazy like that. And you know, she's got enough of a rebellious streak that she just might. And I hope she does too. Anyone in here? Nah. It's just a center for day drinking. Professor Schmidt has finally returned to the Institute. Not only that, he's looking for something new to research too. My condolences for anyone forced to help with that. They're in for a world of pain. For better or worse, the only thing that man cares about is his research. Sorry. It probably isn't, but that little tower makes me think of liberal. It's probably not. It's probably just a tower. That is like a stock photo. That one looks like a real picture from that has been like super blurred, pixelated and stuff. I mean, this one looks real too. Like just a picture taken and then modified to fit in the game. I wouldn't be surprised if it actually was, if that's possible. Steel rusts and falls apart over time. Fitting that a city that heavily relies on steel production would eventually do the same. But until the day comes that it falls apart completely, this bar stays open. I want this story to result in total societal collapse. They said the factory I was working at had no use for making weapons. So do you know what they did? The stupid bastards shut the whole damn thing down. What am I supposed to do now? Ah, hell, I need another drink. I mean, what you're supposed to do is gradually work on joining a resistance movement. It's good to see you again, Elmina. You probably shouldn't be talking to her because you're a wanted criminal, and that brings risk to her. Alisa, is that you? I didn't know you were here back in Roer. That you were back in Roer. What a pleasure to see you. Though you're going to want to be careful if you're staying in town. Things are generally peaceful here. But you wouldn't want to wind up with the army after you like they are Lady Angelica. The provincial army's after Angelica? Somehow I'm not surprised. By the way, you wouldn't happen to have any idea where she might be, would you? I'm afraid not. I do hear whispers from time to time, but nothing worth passing on just yet. Well, thank you anyway. Guess we've got to keep asking around. What am I supposed to do? If I go against orders, the only thing in my future is an instant demotion. Your place is like that too, huh? We were under the chairman's direct control, which means they're not exactly our biggest fans. Yeah, I heard all about the 4th Development Division getting all its projects frozen. My sympathies. Time for a drink? Yep, time for a drink. I don't know. Feels weird. Person. People. Oh yeah, this is where Mint's family lives. My younger brother's fiance is staying with us for now. Oh, I guess they got engaged? Or is this vanilla misinterpreting it? That would be fun. Not very interesting, but fun. Staying with us for now. That's perfectly fine by me, of course. I mean, she's going to be part of our family one day. Our home is her home. This is a great opportunity to get to know her better, too. After all, I need to be completely certain that she's a good match for my beloved little brother, don't I? It's going to be misinterpretation, right? Oh my, if it isn't Class 7. Instructor Mary. I can't believe my eyes. This all feels like a wonderful dream. If it is, I don't want to be woken up. What's wrong with you? You meet one person that's positive and you don't want to be woken up. If you were woken up, maybe it wouldn't be the middle of a war. I managed to flee Trista with a number of students in tow a while ago, and together we made our way here. I've been staying at Mint's house ever since. I'm not sure where she is right now, sadly. We were together at one point, but next I looked, she was gone. Yeah, she mentioned that. But there's no need to worry about her. She's been flying around with us aboard the Courageous. Really? That's fantastic news. Oh, Adios, thank you so much. Was she up in Ymir? But wait, what are you doing here in the first place? Well, I see. It's hard to avoid the unpleasant rumors about the Marquis and his family of late. I haven't seen Angelica for quite a while either. I just hope she's alright. Well, we better get back to looking for clues. I'm afraid we need to be off for now. Instructor, it was great to see you again. Likewise. I won't stop you from doing what you're doing, but try not to expose yourself to more danger than necessary. Duly noted. Now, if you'll excuse us. Anything else to say? Not talking about your fiancé, who might not actually be. It was probably Mint who dropped her off here, said that it was his fiancé and stuff, but... Entrance to the underground passage. We don't have the card key anymore. That's gonna be relevant, right? From the sounds of things, sold-out parts are being made here in Roer. Every piece of info related to them is confidential. The people working on those parts don't even know what they're making. It's so sad it's come to this. The people here live to make things, but this is just depressing. I'm gonna go here real quick, because there's not gonna be anything to interact with. What a disaster. Report Lady Angelica being here. He's not in at the moment. I really hope Lady Angelica is alright. I'm so worried about her, I can barely sleep at night. There's no way Lady Angelica would ever give up. I'm sure she's just fine. Have you forgotten about the way she defied all odds to go to that Academy Festival? And we didn't get to see her. Whatever. Left first. We had a new sister start working here the other day. It's always a bit strange having someone new relying on me all of a sudden. I want to do all I can to be an excellent teacher for her. It's really quite exciting, truth be told. Okay, let's try to see who it is. Darn. You actually can't tell who it is from here. Who could it be? It could be someone in disguise. I don't think there's any actual... I think the only student who's interested in being a nun, a sister, we've already found her, I believe. But it's possible that it's her. But the stance doesn't fit. Never mind. No stance. It's definitely a disguise, though.
I'm pleased to hear that everything seems to be going well for you. I believe it was the goddess's guidance that brought you here after all. I may be limited in what I can do to aid you, but know that you have my full support.
Like, it's probably not Claire, but...
Thank you, Father.
That sounds like...
I will keep striving to do everything I can. Now, if you'll excuse me.
It sounds like Angelica, but it can't be Angelica. Because I think Angelica's taller than that. That is Angelica looking, but it's not Angelica. It's... Is it?
Welcome to Roer Cathedral. Have you all come to pray for the goddess's guidance?
I mean, it has to be her, right? I mean, if it is, I thought she was taller than that. The voice is similar. But I'll, like... I mean, if it isn't her, I'd be surprised.
Strange. I've never seen her around here before.
I guess she must be new. Kind of an odd time to take your vows as a sister, huh?
Or she took her vows somewhere else and came here. That's not an option?
True. I guess the church may be working on its own independent initiatives to bring the war to an end.
How?
I suppose. The church has its own vast network of connections they can call on.
That's very possible.
I mean, that definitely sounded like Angelica. Other than her, I can't think of who it might be. There could be other characters with a similar voice that I'm just forgetting because they only voice 10% of the lines at best. I could head back to the office, but why? It's not like there's anything to actually do there. I'm so bored. I can't stand the new acting chairman. Give me Irina any day. We are trying to aid others in whatever ways we can. The war has certainly made that more difficult than we'd like. If only we could work in tandem with Berea Cathedral on this, getting aid where it's needed would be far easier. Unfortunately, we aren't exactly on the best of terms with them. I'm not sure there's much we can do about that either. Oh my, if it isn't young Alisa. I wasn't expecting to see you return here at a time like this. Are you sure it's all right for you to be walking around in public like this? The soldiers have been looking for you. I should be fine for no reason other than plot. Thanks for looking out for me, though. Thanks for looking out for me, though. Glad to see that not much has changed here in the cathedral. Just that new sister. Ah, you must be referring to Sister Quella. Quella. Any names that would be similar to Quella? Like, the only other person that I was thinking it could have been would be the Reinford maid whose name I've actually somehow forgotten. But the hair color, what little hair could be seen, was not the right color. Yes, I can understand it seems an odd time for a new sister to join us. But she's something of a special case, so we're taking care of her for the time being. It would be fun if she's a totally new character, though. Should you ever require our aid, you needn't hesitate a moment to ask for it. The church never abandons those in need. Thank you, Father. I'll definitely keep you in mind. Downstairs. I'm sad that this game doesn't, like, this game has restated so many things, it doesn't have a joke for going down the wrong escalator. Like, it's such a shame. Cold Steel 1, you go down the wrong escalator, everyone comments on it. This game, nothing. Like, what a letdown. They're already restating pointless central plot lines. At least restate that. Like, that was fun. There's gonna be nothing here.
Been a while since we were last in Roer Airport.
Yeah, not since our field study here.
When was the last time you were in Roer? Same as when your last field study? What a nothing sentence to write. Hello there. The eastbound airliner has just arrived. If you plan to board it, I suggest you purchase your tickets as soon as possible. Roer's not the bustling place it used to be. It's a damn shame. Feels like the nobles are throwing their weight around a lot more these days. Now, I'm not saying I've got anything against the nobility as such. I mean, I do business with them. I wonder if he's the guy that was buying an airship at the factory last time. Or from Reinford last time. Yeah, okay, we know it's an airport. You don't need to spend that much time. Think this is the same airliner we boarded back in Breahard? It might be. It's not like the war put an end to air travel. I don't see the Lusitania around here, though. Not that that comes as a huge surprise. Why does that name sound familiar? It's a huge luxury passenger liner built by the Third Factory. It's one of the company's most famous creations, but from what I heard, it was seized by the Alliance. Worse yet, Duke Cayenne supposedly made it his personal ship too. Looks like the rumors might actually be true. It stands to reason. That might be the only airship big enough for his ego. He probably wouldn't have dared if the chairman was in her rightful position. It's a dumb line to include, because if she was technically in her rightful position right now because of the control, it's not her being in her rightful position. It's her having the power the position holds. So it's just a weird thing to say. Like, he wouldn't have dared if the chairman had anything she could do about it. Putting that aside for now, we should look around. We might be able to find something useful around here. I wonder what they're going to find that's going to be useful. There's a guy here. He probably says something useful. This platform's for the exclusive use of the Noble Alliance right now. You get those high-ranking guys showing up out of nowhere, demanding to land all the time. It's pretty nerve-wracking. I wonder how they, like, do they have speakers on the outside of their ships? Nobody's using it right now, so feel free to take a look around. Just don't touch anything, alright? Can't walk there. Invisible wall. Can't have a box there, no way. Anton! Oh, Ricky, where are you? I know you're supposed to be somewhere in Roer, but I hope I can find some clues as to where you've gone. Anton, the best guy. I like Anton. I like recurring characters that are low stakes. Oh yeah, something that I was thinking about. Part of the reason this game and the Crossbow Saga have felt kind of flat compared to the liberal ones. Any attempts at emotional stakes, none of them are as sort of grounded as stuff like Ren. Ren's background is grim. It's incredibly grim. It's sad. But it's not grounded in magical magic. It might not be realistic in some ways or others, but it's not grounded in trying to turn someone into a god or something like that. It's just messed up. Whereas none of the sad backgrounds in Crossbell, or so far in this arc, have the same grounded nature. Aren't you those students from Thor's? Good to see you all again. I'm Peyton, remember? I was a mechanic on the Courageous for a while. I'd planned on heading back home to Liberal, but that didn't really work out. I still want to get back there as soon as I can, but until I can figure out how, I'm working here at the airport. If there's anything I can do for you, don't think twice about asking. I'd be happy to try and help you out. Help you all out. I mean, technically speaking, given how much we fly around to random places, we could just give him a lift back to Liberal, right? Like, we could drop him off in Liberal. Easy peasy. Flying here was so much fun. We are nobles, so everyone was super nice to us too. I came to Roer to sightsee with my grandson. I'd always stayed away because I'd heard this place was a town for commoners. This is my first time visiting. Ooh, commoners. Though, let's be real, it seems like a really bad place to visit because it's an industrial town. Like, unless you're trying to look at industry, it doesn't seem very fun to visit.
We're not getting anywhere. Especially when the Alliance has this city so completely under control.
Yet you're able to waltz around without getting caught.
That's for sure. Wandering around's given us a lot of information, but none of it actually relates to why we're here. Could there be something we're missing?
It's mine.
I can't imagine you're getting a call from someone on the Courageous either.
Why? Why wouldn't they call her?
There's no way they're within calling range.
As if. The calling range is only whatever's convenient.
Well, only one way to find out who our mystery caller is.
Let them go to voicemail.
Hello?
Look at the Clear Thor's Academy. Ooh, anyone that notices that will know who she is.
Is that you, Alisa? It's Yuna. How have you been?
Yuna.
Yuna! What a pleasant surprise!
Oh yeah, she's the one from the store down the road
I'm doing just fine.
that was closed.
How about you?
Me too.
It's a trap.
But more to the point.
Probably not,
I
but
realize this is a bit sudden, but could you come meet me at the diner? We've got something really important to discuss with you.
the new sister that showed
If
up.
it's that important, then sure. We tried visiting the diner earlier, actually, but the door was locked. Hold on. How did you even know I was back in Roer?
I'll tell you that when I see you. Anyway, later.
Wait, hold on! She hung up on me.
Because it's better to talk about this in the hideout that they have in the
She
diner.
A friend of yours?
That's right. She told me she has something important to talk to us about. She wants us to meet her at Devance's diner near the city's west exit.
It's not like we've got any better leads. Let's head on over.
Here is the reason these games are awful and why I follow guides. Apparently right now, because of this event happening, it's possible I could probably buy it earlier. I probably just didn't check. But sometimes, I don't think it's in this case. I think it's just this guide is in the wrong order, in my opinion. But sometimes it's super specific times where you can get items like this. I think they've pulled it back. I think it's less specific in these games compared to like Trails in the Sky, where sometimes an event, a very important event would happen. And that if you want to get a book, you have to go 4 maps out of your way to get a book and then come back before the next super important event. That if you were playing normal, you'd go super important event to super important event directly. I think this game's better. I think this guide just has it in a weird order. Because you should have that
Well,
buying
it's open.
earlier
I
on
guess
the
they aren't
list.
taking a day off after all.
Or it was locked because they don't want random people in.
Are you in there?
Then they called you and they unlocked the door so that you can go in specifically.
Oh, there you are. It's open. Come on in.
Well, if you say so.
It's
Thanks.
just weird.
Yuna! Devance!
Hey there, Alisa.
I see you've got your friends with you.
Oh, I've missed you, Alisa. I'm so happy to see you're all right.
Music doesn't fit.
Yeah, same here. So, what was it that you wanted to talk to me about?
Like, this is the happy visiting a country town song. This is not the meeting with a friend and then having it revealed that the the sister you ran into is actually the person you're looking for.
Oh, you know.
Please, allow me to explain. I've been eagerly anticipating your arrival, Class 7.
A sister? Wait, didn't we just meet you back in the cathedral?
Geniuses.
What brings you here?
They don't understand the idea of a disguise.
Wait a second. You sound a lot like... Are you... You couldn't be.
Oh, but I am.
Angelica?
Oh, hey, guys. I sure wasn't expecting you to come all the way out here after our talk.
I never would have expected to find you in that getup of all things. You're the last person I picture when I think sister, so the thought never even crossed my mind.
Then my disguise worked even better than I thought it would. Finally, all that crap that got drilled into my head on how to be a lady while growing up came in handy.
I suppose that's one way to put it to good use.
Moving right along. What made you disguise yourself in the first place?
Oh, I'll explain that while I'm bringing you up to speed on everything else. Devance, you mind bringing out some hot drinks for us?
Sure thing.
And they stop voicing it. So that's how you end up coming here. I should have known telling you guys not to worry would make you do exactly the opposite. What else did you think it would do? We couldn't just ignore it. What if you were in trouble? Well, I mean, it's sort of a statement of they have no trust in her. They have no faith that she could get herself out of trouble. So it's kind of just a vote of no confidence, huh? The situation here is even worse than I thought it'd be, too. Heidel Rockner seems to have complete control over the whole company. I'm afraid so. About half of the factories in town have been shut down. The ones that are still active are being used to make arms and the like for the Noble Alliance. Word is, they're using them to make more soldats too. The people here appear to be increasingly unhappy with the nobility too. Did you run away from home because you wanted to try and do something about what's happening here? Basically, yeah. I'm the daughter of the family that rules this province. Figured I've got to try and do something. Right now, I'm in the middle of gathering supporters within the provincial army. Supporters in the provincial army and the city. 2 of which are advanced in Yuna? No, they're not part of it. Knowing you have supporters in the provincial army as well is certainly encouraging. Wait, is that soldier who allowed us to come into the town one of them? Shocking. You got it. He must have noticed you were friends of mine and decided to let you through. Let's be real though. There's no way that he would know that they were definitively friends. It would have been, he must have noticed that you were not pro-Noble Alliance, like more that than friends of hers. That said, I don't have all that many supporters in the army. Most are still loyal to my father. And surprising as it may be, my father feels kind of guilty about the occupation of Heimdall. He does, That really is a surprise. He's part of the 4 great houses, so I assumed he was in favor of all the stuff the Alliance is doing. Subtlety. They're trying to be like, oh wow. Subtlety. He's no fan of the reformists, but his loyalty to His Majesty is genuine. I guess he's just one example of how the Alliance isn't totally united from within, which has been made obvious before. Just before I left home, we ended up getting into a big argument. And right in the middle of it, he shouted, "If you're so damn sure you're right, prove it to me with brute force." I'm not sure how to respond to that. You're not the one that has to respond. Sounds like a real macho guy for a noble. Still, if he's willing to listen that way, it must be that he has doubts about what the Alliance is doing, right? It just must be he. Be he just feels awkward. That's mostly reading it, because the B and the H are very similar. That's what I figured. Anyway, right now he's taking command of the army over at the Schwarzdrach barrier. Meanwhile, a few of the soldiers there are waiting for my word to act. And we've got a few armored cars and soldats available to us too. So when the time comes, I intend to give Father exactly what he wants. I'll beat my way into him. As you can see, there's not really much you can do. This is between me and my father. It's a Ragnar family issue. I'm happy you cared enough to come all the way here, but would you mind leaving this to me? But I'm afraid I can't do that. This isn't just a Ragnar family issue. Roer, and above all else, the Reinford Company are both just as involved. Maybe you could argue that it has nothing to do with my classmates, but it has everything to do with me. Huh. Yeah, I guess so. You want to settle things with your father with your own hands, and I want to rescue my mother with mine. So please, Angelica. Won't you let me help you out? Wow, you're really something, Alisa. I would still argue that we have plenty enough to do with it. We couldn't possibly sit idly by, not with Roer as it is and your mother being held captive, Alisa. We've come all the way out here. We might as well do something. Alisa's mom did a lot for us during our field study here, so it's time to return the favor. You also did a lot for her while you were here, so it's kind of even. You're all sure? And besides, not only did we receive plenty of help from your mother, Alisa, you helped us too, Angelica. You helped us to the point of angering your father and getting expelled from the academy, remember? Can't you give us a chance to pay you back for all that we owe you? Me getting pulled out of Thor's wasn't your fault at all. I just wanted to rebel against Father, and I paid the price for it. Not that anything I say will dissuade you now that you've made up your minds. Now that you've made your minds up instead of made up your minds. Weird. I know how you guys work. Then it's okay. Yep, I'd be happy to have your help. Let's settle things with my father, rescue Irina, and put things back to normal in Roer. Which wasn't even that good to begin with. Together. Right. After a few pleading words, Angelica accepted Class 7's assistance. The matter settled, they then reported back to Toa and the Courageous using the orbital computer in the diner. Why does the diner have an orbital computer? Why? it doesn't need a normal computer that would be able to connect with the courageous. Thank goodness. I'm so glad they were able to meet up with you, Angie. That seems like an impractical device. It's really not a computer. It's more of a radio with a screen. Because it's very specialized equipment is what that looks like. Angie, just what are you wearing? Heh, I make for a pretty hot sister, don't I? I'm glad I get the chance to show you my perfect and oh so very beautiful disguise while I still had it on. For the love of Adios, we don't need Alisa commenting. Anyway, we're going to stay and help Angelica with what she's been doing. We should be able to free Roer from the Alliance's control. I mean, you really shouldn't be able to, but you're going to. Okay then, we'll do all we can to support you from here, which should really be nothing, but... Do you know where the chairman is then? Actually, hold on. Didn't you say you found out where she's being held, Angelica? Oh yeah, I haven't told you that, have I? Told you yet, have I? She's up at the Socks and Iron Mine. More specifically, she's on board the Eisengraph that's currently stopped in its freight station. That's the fancy train. I can show you the way once we get there. The Eisengraph? The fancy pants train? We last saw it on our way to Corellia Fortress, didn't we? It was seized by the Alliance. Then my uncle decided it was his to play with. It's pretty ritzy on the inside, and she's not being treated all that badly. But the real problem is the security. It's all being handled by Jaegers. Which we totally haven't fought a dozen times already. I know what you mean. I doubt it's Zeno and Leo at least. From what I've heard, Director Heidel was never able to look my mother in the eye. You can tell that he wants her as far away as possible so he can wrest control of the company. But since he's limited in how far he can actually go, he's put her there. And if what you're saying is right, once we rescue your mother, regaining control of the company shouldn't be so difficult. Yes, all you need is her. So easy. Yep, rescuing your mom is going to be the hard part. Everything from there should be downhill. I know downhill is like it's easy, but if you said it's all downhill from there, generally means it gets worse most of the time. That means you won't need to worry about her being used as a hostage against you. Plus, you'll be able to focus on things at the Schwarzdrach barrier without needing to worry about things in Roer. Sounds like we're good to go. Let's just review the operation. Operation? You planned literally nothing. First we go save her, then we rescue the company, then we fight people. That's a lot to do, and we're gonna need to be quick about it. We don't have the time. We don't want to give the Marquis time to come to us before we can go to him. Yeah, we're gonna need to make sure we've got all we need before starting. Once we start, there's no turning back. We're gonna need you two for backup, Toa, George. You can count on us. We'll be waiting as close to Roer as possible, as we possibly can, so we can rush in if you need us. Take care, and good luck. Thanks, guys. Okay, let's get ready and head for the mine. Right. Angelica joined the party. Rena and Angelica can now use Overdrive, somehow. They don't need to earn being able to use Overdrive, they just can use it for some reason. 7 party members? Wow! Angelica's Master Quartz. Emblem has a special effect. Regardless of what they would have been, all battles randomly have a chance of becoming triple advantage encounters when she leads the party. Battles initiated by foes are of no exception, so setting Angelica as your party leader is highly recommended.
Right.
Time Time to shine.
What does she do? Is she an arts user? She is not arts focused. I can't see what it does. It doesn't let me see what it does. Kind of useless. I guess all it does is... less damage received, lower HP. I kind of don't want to equip anything on her. Classic. Counterattacks after evading always deal critical. Attack, action. Attack 3 and action 3. Wow. So interesting. What are her arts? Laser bullet 2. Kind of just normal. Zero impact. Pretty normal. Pretty normal. Pretty run-of-the-mill character, huh? She's so over-leveled compared to everyone else, except for Reen, who has 30% more experience. Ooh, what a setup. Ooh, these positions are awful. He should be here. She should be in the front. They should be forward. Ooh. I'm more interested in symmetry. Symmetry is the most important thing. Vertical symmetry. Horizontal symmetry, not vertical. It's probably fine. Didn't... It was Rush 2 being an upgrade to Rush. I hate this aesthetic. But also, I do like that she's actually disguising herself.
Onward! Here I go!
And Alisa, who lived her whole life here, isn't bothering to disguise herself because they just won't recognize her for some reason.
Time to shine.
It's very logical, and it's totally not dumb. Yeah. I guess that's where it's time to wrap up for today. Next time will be a lot of running around on highways, it looks like. There is not a crazy amount of stuff before the end of the act, but it will probably be a couple more episodes till this part of Act 2 of Act 2 will take probably a couple more episodes, is my guess. So, I'll continue next time. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.